And Rogue, the couple that no one likes but me apparently, it's become a pretty big part of the 97 show, which by the way there will be spoilers for in this video. Especially episodes 2, 3, and 5. Now look, I love Gambit and Rogue as well. In fact, I don't think that Rogue and Magneto should be endgame, because they shouldn't. Well, except for Age of Apocalypse, of course. But it's a nice detour for the characters, and an interesting part of the character's history. An insight to both Rogue and Magneto's characters. So let's talk about it. Now, foul warning, it gets weird. Clones are involved. A lot of clones are involved. But, yet again, it's comics, so what else do you expect? Clones everywhere. Now, this idea was first introduced in Uncanny X-Men issue 274 from 1991, which has a cover that was referenced in the third episode of 97. That being a part of Gambit's nightmare. It's honestly just a pretty cool cover on its own, and it's pretty cool to see it being homaged in the show. Even if it is made more goopy. The plot of this issue and issues prior are about mutants being trapped in the savage land of dinosaurs. During this, Ka-Zar, Magneto, and Rogue decide a truce based on them not wanting to die. The latter of which also get pretty close to each other. There's also a subplot about Rogue having a clone that's trying to kill her involving Carol's memories, who is hunting her down on this island. It's like Predator meets Jurassic Park meets X-Men, and just throw in clones. With, of course, a 90s twist. That means edgy. Really edgy. It's an arc that is very much of its time. Some might like it, some might not. Personally, I think it's a lot of fun, but I can see why some people might not be a fan of it. Because, like said, it is very 90s. This Rogue clone duplicate with Carol's memories attempts to kill her, and for a moment it seems like Magneto's about to leave her for dead. But instead he saves her life, proving to her that he's not all that bad. After all, a lot of people think the same of her. And then things get a bit closer. It seems like they're about to make out, only for it to be interrupted by Ka-Zar, the cock blocker. I'm kidding, I love Ka-Zar. He's a cool character. By story ends, they're saved by S.H.I.E.L.D., some other military group, X-Men, X-Factor, really everybody because I guess it's all hands on deck when it comes down to dinosaurs. Even Zabu shows up. That's Ka-Zar's pet, Sabretooth. Rogue defends Magneto against S.H.I.E.L.D. when they tried to arrest him, since he did save her life, as well as not being the enemy in the situation. Therefore, they have no grounds to actually arrest him. Magneto even goes as far as giving information to Rogue as a heads up to villains' plans, something that she appreciates deeply, implying a potential mutual respect between the two characters, or possibly more. It's a pretty nice ending to this arc. I am a little confused as to why they can't arrest Magneto on other grounds, because he's still done crimes even if he didn't do this crime. But to be fair, that wouldn't be as good as an ending as this was. Or at least wouldn't be in my personal opinion. You could of course disagree with me on that. Also, that is just me going over the Rogue and Magneto stuff. There's actually a lot going on in this arc, and it's just very issue, including an argument between Cable and Storm that left me confused. This implication wouldn't go nowhere. In fact, it'd be brought back stronger than ever in Age of Apocalypse from 1995. In this world, Rogue and Magneto are happily married and are a power couple in this world of hell. They would even have a son named Charles. But that unfortunately wouldn't be their downfall, as Charles would accidentally kill his mom, leaving Magneto sad and alone in the end times, which by the way is a very, very sad story. In this world, the two can touch, hence why they can have a kid. It's the same reason as why they can touch on the show, that being magnetism, and yeah, that's really the only reason. There's no real explanation besides that. Which, you know, I'll let it pass, because a lot weirder stuff happened in the 90s than the two of them being able to touch. Like clones. More clones are coming up because this relationship just screams clones, apparently. Rogue would go on to have a relationship with a clone of Magneto in the 90s X-Men comics from issues 336 to 367. This is Joseph, a younger clone of Magneto, who Rogue at first mistakes for Magneto, only to then fall for him when she thinks that he is actually Magneto. He thought it too. The two can touch because of plot convenience. Magneto's powers are passed down to Jo, so Jo can touch her. There's also some creepy father and son vibes, and implications between Magneto and Joe, because even though he's a younger clone of Magneto, there are moments where he's referenced as being Magneto's son, and Rogue was shown to have a flirtation with Magneto. Maybe it's just me, but there's something a little creepy about her dating his potential clone son. Either way, it wasn't meant to be, because Joseph would die when it came down to trying to stop a machine made by Magneto himself. Somehow, this process aged him rapidly until he was too old to live. The character has returned to comics like every dead character, but his past with Rogue has primarily been kept under wraps in the 90s. He's currently butting heads with his sister, his clone's daughter, his clone's potential daughter. Okay, what is Wanda to Joseph? Him and Wanda are currently fighting it out in the Scarlet Witch comics. The 616 Magneto and the 616 Rogue would end up from these plot points being brought together themselves, something that was only previously hinted at, with these other moments being from another world and a clone of Eric opposed to actually being him. This would occur in the X-Men Legacy title from issues 248 from 2011 to 274 from 2012. So we're taking a step from the 90s and just leaping over the 2000s, apparently, where the characters themselves hardly interacted in that decade. At least in a manner that is notable to this video. The two characters would have a kindred connection. After all, they both had some pretty villainous actions back in their past, forming into a romance, where Magneto can once again touch Rogue. This, of course, would surprise most people, including the X-Men themselves. And while this romance became a pretty important part to both characters, bonding over their dark past and hoping for a better path for both of them, it would unfortunately end in issue 274, which, like I said, is from 2012. This was because, even more surprising, Magneto would propose to Rogue, but she would say no. Her reason is because they're not meant to be. That despite as much as they care about each other, Magneto's constant change of heart and Rogue's now loyal to the X-Men would constantly create problems for the couple. Especially if Magneto went back to being a villain, because if she has to choose between the two, Magneto or the X-Men, she's going to choose the X-Men. And as harsh as that might sound, Rogue wasn't wrong. Soon after this, Magneto would go back to being a villain, although he took Cyclops with him. That was both an odd story that I liked. Cyclops, Magic, Magneto, Emma Frost, and a young Angel were a shocking team, but also to be fair, they were pretty competent, so I can't knock it. Back to Magneto and Rogue. I do think this romance is a pretty bold but interesting choice. There's something there about wanting redemption and a mutual bond and understanding that no one else really understands. Not knowing what is next for yourself when it comes down to who you are. Making a choice that makes you a better person, but it also makes you lost. Because being a villain is all you really know, what else is there to do? So I think the two of them having a kindred connection through that means is a very interesting and a pretty cool idea. But, like Rogue said, it can never be. And for it was a tragic romance, which for what it was, I did like it. And I am excited to see how it goes further in 97. Yes, I know he's dead, and so is Gambit, but we all know they're coming back. I also think the choice that Rogue makes about not marrying him is also pretty interesting. That she loves Eric, but she also knows him very well. Too well, and that is, he always returns to his roots. Something all X-Men fans also know, because he always does return to being a bad guy. Because while Rogue can do the work to be a hero, Magneto can't. Which in itself is a pretty interesting comparison. They're this yin and yang of redemption. Yeah, I know, most people hate it, but hey, it's my video, so I can say what I want. Which you, by the way, can disagree with. You, of course, can hate this pairing and hate everything I said in this video. It's all up to you. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!